to say hello to you because we're starting a new school year and this is our first assembly. And I know for some of you, this may be some of your first days in big school. So I really want to welcome you and say you're very welcome to St Andrews, and we'll hope you'll be very, very happy. And to the junior infants, I'm sure very soon you'll be making new friends and you'll be growing up in your new class of junior infants and getting to know your teachers and getting to know around your new school. And to all of you who are coming back to school after being off for what has been a very long time, we welcome you back and hope that everybody will be safe and well and that you'll get on and have a happy year in school. Our story today is about a man who was told to take off his shoes. And this story is about this man, and I want you to listen very carefully. One of the things I want you to do is, when you hear the word sheep, I want you to make the sound like a sheep. Can you do that? Did anyone try to make a sound like a sheep? Yeah, that's right. Everybody knows what a sheep sounds like. So when I say the word sheep, you make the sound of a sheep. Will you do that? Okay. And here's our story. Every one of us knows that sometimes we have to take off our shoes, don't we? There are times when we have to make sure that we take off our shoes if there's a stone in our shoes and it's making us feel uncomfortable. But one of the times we take off our shoes is when we come back to the house sometimes and our shoes are dirty. And one of the things that can happen if we don't take off our shoes when they're really, really dirty and we come into the house, it means that we walk everywhere and all the dirt on our shoes goes onto the carpets, goes onto the floors, and Mum and Dad, who work very, very hard at home, would have to go and clean the carpets and clean the floors again after we have walked all the dirt on our shoes all over the house. So it's a really, really good idea to take off our dirty shoes. It's a way of telling Mum and Dad that we won't want them to be doing too much more work than all the work they do to keep us happy and well each day. This story is about a man who had to take his shoes off. It's a story of a man called Moses. When we meet Moses in our story, he's looking after sheep. That's right. We made that sound really well. So he's looking after sheep, and these belong to his father-in-law, who was a man called Jethro. And Jethro had a large number of sheep. That's right, that's the sound they make. And Moses was out one day, and as he was going along, he noticed something very strange when he was looking after the sheep. He passed by a great big bush, and this bush was on fire. It was burning, and it was so dry that it looked as if it would burn itself until it became ashes. But something really funny was happening. Even though the bush was burning, and even though Moses, the man in our story, was watching this bush burn, it never burned down to ashes. It just kept on burning. And Moses got closer and closer to this burning bush, and it meant that he left his sheep behind. That's right. That's the sound the sheep make. He walks over to the bush, and all of a sudden, as soon as he gets to the bush, he hears a loud voice. It says to him, "Take off your shoes." And he said, "What? Take off your shoes." Moses says, "I don't take off my shoes for anyone. I am God. I am telling you to take off your shoes." And when Moses hears that it's God, he's very frightened. He's never seen God and never heard God speak to him in that way before. So he takes off his shoes and he listens very carefully to what God has to say to him. And Moses is told by God that God has a very special job for him to do. Moses' people, the people of Israel, are in a place called Egypt. And Egypt was a place where all those people worked very, very hard building large buildings. And sometimes they were treated really badly when they were doing their job. They would be beaten, they would be pushed, they would be called names, they were made to feel really miserable. So God is saying to Moses, I have a special job for you. I want you to leave behind the sheep. That's right. And I want you to go to Egypt and take the people who are being sneered at, the people who are being called names, the people who are being hurt. I want you to bring them with you back to where you live in the land of Israel. Moses listened very, very carefully. And all of a sudden, he began to realize that God wanted him for a very special job. Moses wasn't a very special person. In fact, Moses had not been a very good person. He had done some very bad things. But God wanted him to change his life. He wanted him to obey what he wanted. And he wanted him to go to Egypt and get his people free. That meant he had to say goodbye to Jethro, and it meant also he had to say goodbye to the sheep. Well done, everybody, for listening so carefully today. And God has a special job for you and me as well. It doesn't mean we have to go to Egypt, but it does mean that we have to care for one another. So now that you're in school, and some of you are back in school after a long time, be very careful of one another. Be careful to keep safe and to keep other people safe as well. And by doing so, you will be doing a special job for God as well. And God will richly bless you and all your families and all those you care for. Will you say this prayer after me? Dear God, thank you for asking Moses to do a special job for you. Help me to understand that you want me to do a very special job for you as well. Help me to be kind. Help me to care for others. Amen. Together we say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And the Lord bless you and keep you today and forever. Amen. We will have another assembly this day next week. Have a very good week, everyone. Keep safe and well.